Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the B2B Outbound Marketing and Sales Automation Tools. How's it going, guys? As you know, we really try hard to find the best automation tools and tools that can help your businesses. And it took a while, but we're back. We're actually having a really nice automation tool, especially, ChatGPT is a quite trendy word. So we actually have today a guest who is Stanislas Marion. And he's from Brussels, actually from Belgium. And he's really excited to share his automation tools and how he can help you save a lot of time. So Stan, welcome to the show.
Yes. Hello, Dancho. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, well, nice to meet you as well. I didn't know that you were the owner of the tool that we're going to talk about because I've already started using it. So when I saw that we're going to talk, I was like, okay, this is going to be an interesting talk. And maybe before we dig into the automation tools and everything, it's a good idea if you give us a bit background then about you and how did you get to where you are currently?
I'm an engineer by trade, basically. I did some engineering studies, and then I tried to create two startups. One that failed completely. I won't mention it. One that is I'm not involved in anymore, but that is succeeding, which is called keiko.com. That does some kind of Bloomberg for cryptocurrencies. And since 2017, I'm in the Revival Group, which is a company that owns software companies. And one of them is Talarian, which I took over in 2019.
Nice. So usually when we talk with people, some of them are engineers, some of them are entrepreneurs, but you're kind of mix of both because you've already have some failed startups, some successful startups, but also you have the technical background. So engineer and entrepreneur. If you have to choose one, which do you value more?
I value both because it's not the same thing. You can be both, or you can be just one, or you can be neither. But engineer is more about deconstructing problems and solving problems in a more structured and with reasoning. Whereas entrepreneur is more facing reality and trying to sell every day to a new customer, basically, and trying to make a product that people want. So it's not the same thing, but the two can be combined.
Yeah, it's ideal because with the entrepreneur, you have looking at the product market fit, and as an engineer, you know how to build a product to fit the market. And Stan, when I was looking at the Talarian, you actually have several solutions built there. Can you tell us a bit more about them?
Yes. Talarian has now 5 products, 5 main products. There were 3 original products that were started in the first published versions were in 2014. So that's yet another mail merge, form publisher, or Awesome Table, and Awesome Table. So YAM is a mail merge tool that lets you send personalized emails in bulk from just a Google Sheets with your Google account. And it's very easy to set up. You can go from setup to sending your first 100 emails in under a minute. So that's really the big value proposition. Form Publisher is a tool that lets you create documents from Google Forms responses and document templates that you can do in Google Docs, Sheets, or Slides. So if you want to create, for example, invoices or certificates from Google Form answers, you can easily do that. And Awesome Table is a tool that lets you create a little iframe, a little part of a website based on spreadsheet data. So it lets you use a Google Sheet basically as a database for simple catalog view. So you can, if you want to do people directories or partner catalogs or store locators, for example, Awesome Table is a great way to do it. And so these are the 3 products that existed when I arrived in 2019, and they all revolved around so integrations of Google Workspace products, and were very popular already. Since then, we have made 2 new products. So one is called Awesome Table Connectors. It's actually part of the Awesome Table umbrella, but it is a different product. So it's a different pricing. And it lets you import data from other systems like CRMs, for example, Salesforce or HubSpot, into Google Sheets. We had basically 3 tools to do something with data that was already in Google Sheets. And I thought, okay, we need a tool to import data into Google Sheets so that you can then either use it only in Google Sheets or use it in the 3 tools that we already have.
Nice. So actually you can go to the HubSpot, export the contacts to a Google spreadsheet, and then with yet another mail merge, you can take that spreadsheet and start sending them emails. Exactly. And also with the form publishers, use the same one to create the invoices. Nice.
Exactly. So the newest product is called GPT for Sheets and Docs. It was not planned. I didn't plan the release of ChatGPT last November, but when I saw it, I thought, oh, okay, we need to, I also some people doing some, little integrations with AppScript. I thought, okay, well, we are very good at making Google Sheets add-ons. We should make an add-on, that lets people use ChatGPT from inside Google Sheets and inside Google Docs, because the problem with the main ChatGPT interface is you have to copy paste. First of all, you can ask questions only one by one, and then you have to copy paste into your real work interfaces. And it's not an editor, so you cannot edit the text from within. So not only that, but you can also only ask questions one by one. Whereas with Google Sheets, you can ask questions. You can just drag a formula in your spreadsheets and apply a question to different values in bulk. That's the point of the spreadsheet, right?
Yeah, I'm a spreadsheet lover as well, Stan. So for me, I understand that even with the ChatGPT is like question, but then another one, and then another one, and then you have to start from scratch. While with the Excel, you work with variables. You can set up the variables, and then ChatGPT like take variable A, do this, then take variable, do this, and you can just apply it.
A lot of software companies try to kill the spreadsheet, but in fact, the spreadsheet is probably like the most resilient piece of software ever. It has been created decades ago, and I think it will never die. This is the main thesis for Talarian. Basically, is we integrate with existing spreadsheets, but because making a good spreadsheet is incredibly hard. There is only Excel and Google Sheets. Basically, other spreadsheets do not exist. But even though they are super powerful, they lack many integrations and many features, and so we try to provide those.
Nice. And how did you decide to actually use the Google Workspace products? I mean,
this I did not decide. This is basically,
or it was inherited with the Talarian.
Yeah, it was inherited because basically the Revival Group started as a workspace shop, basically a workspace reseller and integrator. And it then developed products on Google Workspace based on feedback from customers on where Google Workspace was lacking. And so when I arrived, it was all Google. So it was not a decision. It was an inheritance, and we will expand to Microsoft starting this year.
Nice. And talking about the ChatGPT, that was like what, November, December? It was released in general, so it's not like you had a lot of time for development and everything. So everything was built in this few months actually.
So the first version of the product was built in a few days. It was really an experiment at first. We didn't want to invest a lot until we knew if there was some interest or not. So it was initially extremely basic, just a very thin wrapper on top of the OpenAI API. But then, so it took actually more time to get it through the Google approval process than to code it. But then it went viral many times over, and so we started having a huge amount of users and interest and a huge amount of technical problems. So then the real development efforts started, and we've had multiple people full time since 3 months and a half now.
Nice. For me, I think that I found out about the ChatGPT integration with Google Sheets. I think it was TikTok. You know, the influencers, this is a tool that I found, you should use it.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's actually cute. And I actually installed it and I tried it and I was like, wow, I don't know who do it, but respect from me.
Yeah, we had very nice virality, organic virality. Basically, my first LinkedIn post had like 6,000 likes, which is highly unusual for me. Highly unusual for me.
It gives you the idea that whatever you're doing, it has a good product market fit, as we say in business.
Yeah. And then it was picked up by other people. Yeah. On TikTok, especially on TikTok, there were two TikToks that were super viral. One especially, and one that was even retweeted by Mark Andreessen from, Silicon Valley. So yeah, that was nice. And we've got some very good feedback. We also have lots of technical problems. So some users, I think, let me put it this way. I thank our users for their patience until we fix all of them. And, we've got a lot of exciting things coming that will solve the most painful problems that, currently,
yes, and then there has to be some expectation that it's not something that is being built for 3 years, and of course it's
exactly
months, and there are some hiccups, but that's the feedback that you need to receive in order to start sorting all the bugs and features.
But you'd be surprised. Like people expect a product that is only 2 months old to be to be perfect and have a ton of features.
Yeah, true. And I was also curious then, because I was looking at it. It has more than 2 million downloads, GPT for Sheets. I'm currently on Workspace Google, which means that that's pretty widely used. So maybe it's a good idea if you can give us a short demo, like how high ticket service providers or business owners can utilize the tool for their businesses.
Yes. Let me prepare my screen. So this is Google Sheets. And the tool, so I'll just do the simplest thing you can do, right? So I'll write a prompt, like write a tagline for a shoe shop. Okay. And then from inside a cell, I'll do it next to it. From inside a cell, you have some custom functions. The main one is called just GPT. So you can use this function and you can put this inside it, and it will basically call ChatGPT and return with this prompt, and then return with the answer, as you can see here. Step up your style with our shoes. So that's basically the basic feature, just to call that. And then you can put, the nice thing about the function is if you want to change your prompt, for example, you say, okay, I want a woman shoe shop. You can change it, and then it will recompute.
Re-update.
Okay. And then if, let's say that then you want to do, to show the power from a integration with a spreadsheet is, you can build, so I will delete this. You can build your prompt with different cells. So let's say that you want to write a tagline for various shops. So you can say, okay, write a tagline. You can drag this down.
The same everywhere.
Same, yeah. And then here, actually, sorry, I'll do write a tagline 4. Then I will drag this down. And then here, let's say that you want, I don't know, ice cream, an ice cream shop. A shoe shop.
I had a podcast about GPT integration.
About GPT.
While testing it, why don't you get me some help as well?
A marketing agency. Okay, I'll do just 4. I don't need to do more to the demo. And then here you can use the GPT function for this. So you put, if you want to see how it works, you just click this little question mark, and then you have the full documentation of the function that is in line. And so you put for the prompt, then the value, and then you close this. and then you can drag it down, and it will write a tagline. So it will call ChatGPT on all this data. And this is you could do that for hundreds of rows, thousands of rows. So you just need to be a bit careful. If you launch 1,000 rows at a time, it will not work for now. You have to do it piece by piece. But this is one of the technical limitations that we have should be solved in around a month. Some people have been trying on tens or even hundreds of thousands of rows at a time and were surprised that it did not work. Another thing I can show is, so in the main menu here, the extensions menu. So we have, this is the add-on menu, and then we can launch the sidebar, which will give you, a lot of information. So the first thing that is important is it will actually give you, the latency of the current, model that you are using. As you can see here, GPT 3.5 Turbo, which is the main ChatGPT model, the one that is used in the main ChatGPT interface, is extremely slow. So it is dangerous in a spreadsheet because it might time out. So if you want to use a faster model, you can use another one like DaVinci, for example. Okay. Maybe I'll select this one, for now. For the rest of the demo, it will be safer. Okay. Then you have the list of the functions that are available here. And if you open one of them, for example, GPT classify, it will give you an example, that you can copy paste. So let's say that this is a very simple example, right? I copy paste it. I will classify a banana between a fruit and a vegetable. And of course it gets it right, but it's just to show the functionality.
Yeah.
Or GPT extract, which is an interesting one as well. Let's say that you have some text and you want to extract data. So I copy paste this. Here I have in my prompt, you can see I worked 12 years at Amazon.com and, well, it should be and Apple. There's a slight mistake here, but nonetheless, it's the same results. And you want to extract companies, it extracts the companies.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's lots of things that you can do, and you have all the functions here. Some popular functions include, GPT classify is very popular, GPT tag as well. The difference between GPT classify and GPT tag is just that tag, you can have multiple tags, whereas a category is unique. So for example, if I tag I love chocolates, it will say that it's both about food and positive. Okay. Then you have the default setting. So this is very important. It lets you manipulate for the model that you want to use, but also the creativity. So creativity here, I'm at 0, so it means it's not very creative.
Very formal and to the point.
Yeah. So I can crank it up to like either I use these buttons or I use the slider here. And if I try again, in this case, for example, I try again this one. To try again, it's very easy. You just delete it and then you undo. It will reload and apply.
Refresh.
Yeah. And so you see, it will give you a different one. If you crank it up to 1, usually it is even more creative, especially if you give it more instructions. So actually, I mean, this is something quite important. Let me show you this. So let's say that, okay, write a tagline for an ice cream shop. This is a very simple, instruction, very basic, right? But let's say that you want to, write, a tagline, for an ice cream shop. Okay. But you want to include, a pun. Okay. And, the shop should be, let's say in Iceland. Okay. Then you can actually, put all of this in the prompt. That's the power. You don't have to put just one cell. You can put all of it in the prompt. And, with a creativity of 1, as you can see, it includes a pun, the coolest treats, around, and it gets more creative. So you can really play with the parameters, and you can use the full spreadsheets, you can use a full interface of the spreadsheet.
You don't need one cell.
Yeah, you don't need to put everything in one cell. That's really important because it can really help you to specify all your parameters. You could also specify, for example, the tone, the style, the length, lots of things. Okay, and I think like the spreadsheet makes it super easy to specify different parameters. And then another very important thing is this part here, saving results, because as you can see in here, if you look inside the formula, if you double click, you will see it's a formula inside the cell. You see it's a formula. You don't see the text. So this can be annoying for two reasons. Number one is the spreadsheet refreshes itself automatically. You cannot prevent it from doing this, right? Any formula and custom formula are not an exception, will get refreshed. So it will cost you every time it refreshes. And also you might not get the same answer. So this could be a problem. If you've got a lot of good answers, you're very happy with your results, and it refreshes, maybe you will lose your results. So you need to save your results to keep them and insert them as raw text that then cannot move anymore. So
but then you can even edit them, because now you cannot edit. If you click twice, it's going to give you a formula rather than a text.
Exactly. If you want to edit it, after the response, you need the raw text. Absolutely right. So the first thing you can do is, if you have a lot of data in your spreadsheets, you can first click on this button. First of all, it will count the number of active GPT formulas here. It will tell you, okay, there is 5. And then you can click on the show button, and this will highlight all the cells that contain a formula. So this way you can see what you have. And then you can either replace in your selection or in the entire sheets. I can replace in the entire sheet here just to show you. So it says 5 formulas have been replaced. We have 0 now. So far so good.
Now it's text.
And then when I click here, I can see it's real text. So now I can do what I want. I can edit it, set your.
The point is you're differentiating whether you're actively using ChatGPT or you have finished using ChatGPT and now you need the data and you no longer don't want to use credits.
Yeah, exactly. And so this is a really important thing to keep in mind. Okay. And the last thing, you can generate a formula or explain a formula. It is not related to the GPT formulas. In fact, it will not work with GPT formulas because GPT are custom functions that ChatGPT doesn't know about. This is to help you create normal, traditional spreadsheet formula. So, for example, if you want to say, let's try to create. I want to look up the tagline about a shoe shop in the range B2 through D5. I haven't rehearsed this, so I hope it will work. But tagline about a shoe shop. Okay, let's. It is in column D. See what it does. So
you're actually telling ChatGPT in order to create Excel formulas on your behalf when you're not sure how the formula should look like.
Yeah, exactly. So here I tried it. It doesn't work. Because why does it not work?
Look up.
Because it includes D2 whereas D2 is not. So I would have to do it differently. Let's do it differently. It's not a very good example. I want to look up the tagline about a shoe shop. So okay, let's do it differently. This is a tough one to do. Let's do, for example, let's say that we have a list of.
No, but you can say, how can I count how many companies are in column C? And it should give you the formula count A, for example.
How many companies are in column?
Not company names, but different businesses, probably. I don't know how many.
How many businesses are in column C?
Because with company, it's going to count the company name like Amazon in the previous. Count if C, exactly if it's not an empty field. For entire C, that looks better.
So here it added some quotation marks, which it shouldn't do. So this is okay. Let's say this is still experimental, but if you want to, let's say that I will have okay, let's do something else. Like I have some numbers. Let's say they are revenue numbers, and you want to compute the growth rates. In B16, B20. So now you know that you need to copy this. I'll copy it here. It's
B20, the bigger one minus the smaller one divided by the smaller one. That this should be accurate.
Yeah, why did it say? Oh yeah, sorry. It's because I messed up the range. It's B19. Okay. Yeah. So 300%, which is indeed accurate from 100 to 400.
Yes. So the whole goal, this generate formula is really like a Google Sheet help file. You're telling it what do you need, and then it tells you, well, you should use this formula to solve that problem.
Yeah, exactly. So, and if you wanted to compute it, okay, this did not. Let's say this is experimental. I will not demo it more because it's still experimental.
Nice.
And if you have a formula that is complicated, you can also make ChatGPT explain it.
Mm-hmm. And Stan, I had only one or two more questions that I wanted to ask you about the limitations, but you've already mentioned one that when you try, how many rows you said you can go maximum or something when you said about that?
Okay, so the main limitation right now is not about rows, is more okay. There are several types of limitation that come from the main one is that currently custom functions, any function needs to respond in 30 seconds. But as we show in our chart here, where we track all the response times of the models, the models are very slow on average. Even like GPT-4 is the highest one here, is almost on average is
near 30 seconds. So it may time out actually.
Yeah. And even like GPT Turbo, which is on average at 10 seconds, can really spike. And this depends on the amount of tokens that you ask it to generate. So the longer the answer you expect, the longer the response will be. So here I asked, for a tagline. So the answer is pretty short. So it went fast. But if you ask
for a paragraph for 1,000 words, it's going to take some time.
Yeah. If you ask for a blog post, it will time out. And in this case, it's better to use our docs integration because it doesn't suffer from the same limitation. So you have to be careful about these limits, for now, although in a month, roughly, it will not be a problem anymore because we will release a new backend that will solve the problem.
Nice.
Although this will be part of a paid plan, so it will not be available for free users.
Of course.
The other limitation comes from the rate limits of OpenAI. So again, I can show we have a page on this on our website, where we summarized all the rate limits. So there's two rate limits. There is requests per minute and tokens per minute. Usually the one that people run into is the request per minute. And so if you are a free user of OpenAI, and I mean the OpenAI API, I don't mean ChatGPT Plus. These are two different things, which confuses the hell out of people. Unfortunately, they really do not make this easy to understand. you will be hit by those 20 requests per minute. In Google Sheets, it's very easy to drag a formula for 20 cells. So you will be hit by this very quickly. Even if you are a paid user, you are only entitled to 3,500 requests per minute. So you should still be careful. If you drag a formula very, very quickly across more than 3,500 rows, you will get some.
Yes, but in most cases, you need 100. So 3,500 is pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. So these are the main limitations. And sometimes you can run into the Google limitations. So you cannot do more than 20. If you're a gmail.com account, you cannot do more than 20,000 outgoing calls from a spreadsheet. And we've had some people run into these limitations. Because this limitation is shared across all scripts or add-ons. It's not just about our product. So if you use a lot of automation products, you can actually quite easily hit it. And the only solution is to either wait or upgrade to Google Workspace, in which case you have 100,000 per day still shared.
That's more than enough.
So yeah, these are the main limitations that we have right now that are affecting people.
And my other questions then was that one was the limitation, and the other one was the cost associated for using the automation tool. So the tool, is it free for use, or you mentioned something about premium model?
Yeah, so currently it is free to use. As we say it here, you can see the sidebar is free while in beta. And the only cost is the cost of that the user needs to pay is the cost of the OpenAI API. This means that you need to create your own API key on OpenAI and insert it into the products in this screen here. And if you don't know how to create an OpenAI key, API key, we tell you how to. However, this is so overall, the cost of the OpenAI API is actually very cheap. We have a pricing calculator here. It's very cheap unless you use GPT-4. So, but if you use GPT 3.5 Turbo, which is the main ChatGPT model, for example, if you do 1,000 executions of 750 words each, that will cost you $2. So this means you can write 1,000 blog posts of 750 words and it will cost you $2. It's not that much,
and
right?
ChatGPT-4 is significantly more expensive.
And ChatGPT-4 is significantly more expensive. If we take the least expensive version, 8K, which means you can have 8,000 tokens in the context, as you can see, you jump to $45 on average. So we jumped from $2 to $45.
Yeah,
so it's more than 20 times more expensive, right?
Nice. Well, Stan, very interesting. You gave me a lot of topics now to think, because I also have few use cases on how we can utilize this. Especially, I was struggling to figure out how to, once I get it from ChatGPT, how to fix the data so I can start editing it. But now I see you have a feature for that. So it means that people can lock it and it can no longer refresh and edit the data.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm looking also at the time, because we have to be time aware. I was just curious then, how are you open for any partnership opportunities? Example, like white label, affiliate, reselling part. How is that organized with Talarian?
So, as I said, currently the extension is free, from our point of view. So, of course, there is no possible partnerships, but we are going to roll out some paid plans in the coming weeks, that will bring some really nice features like, the new backend, and a longer cache, and, other features that I will not reveal now, but that will be really nice. And so as soon as we do that, we will, not as soon, but shortly thereafter, we will, try to, roll out an affiliate model, because I think this works very well. And I'm open in general to partnership inquiries, if they make sense.
Of course. Nobody wants
Probably
partnership.
not white label though.
Got it. And the last thing that I usually ask then is in regards to the future. I mean, you have the automation up and running. It's currently used. You've gave us some hints that in future you're going to change the backend a bit to have bigger delays and everything. But 2023 is still ahead of us because it's April. So I was just curious, where do you see this tool, this application in the future? Because I understand your point where you say, well, the initial version took a few days. Then we've realized we have a golden nugget. So we had to put multiple people. So I was just curious, where do you see the roadmap in the future for this automation tool?
Yeah. So the first thing is we are going to roll out a Microsoft Excel version.
Nice to cover that part as well.
Yeah. So it will be our first Microsoft product ever. And then we are going to roll out this new backend that will solve the problem of timeouts and allow people to make many executions at a time without errors. We're also going to release some new features in the sidebar that will help control, such as pausing the execution. So if you want to prepare your sheets, but you don't want to run the executions just yet, you click pause and then you can click play and it will execute all the functions. Retrying as well. Sometimes you get an error. As I showed, you can just delete the cell and undo the delete, but this is not super practical. So we just have a button that you can use for that. And also, I mean, functions are great for people that know how to use them, but they're also very complicated for people that are less technical. And so we will introduce some sidebar prompting that will hopefully help people set up complicated use case. I mean, very valuable use cases in their spreadsheet without having to know how to use formulas and chain them.
Yeah, when we were discussing about limitation, is that the main assumption is that people are very native with Google Sheets and then they can start building with ChatGPT on top of it. But you had a point that not everybody likes spreadsheets. Like I enjoy myself into Excel, into Google Spreadsheet, but there are people that just hate them. And that's why I love the part with the formula generator, because you don't need to know spreadsheet. You can just tell ChatGPT what do you want to achieve, and then it can create the formulas for you.
Yeah. And also, I mean, I didn't show it at all, but we have a Google Docs integration that lets you prompt ChatGPT from Google Docs, which can be very useful if you are writing or working on long form contents that does not fit very well in a spreadsheet. And we're going to improve this. We're going to improve this integration so that it can handle longer text. Currently, it doesn't work well with very long context, basically.
I see. So that comes with the blog post and long social media posts.
Yeah.
Well, Stanislav, I think that we are ending the time that we had dedicated for this podcast. I really wanted to thank you for coming to the show and presenting the automation GPT for Sheets. For everybody out there, you see how simple it is to use. You just plug it in and then you can start using, instead of ChatGPT, you can actually just utilize within your Google spreadsheet. And I think the value is that instead of going to ChatGPT and type and then copy the information, you're actually using your ecosystem within what you're currently doing. You're able to do different prompts in order to get different results. Last question, maybe Stan, is that where people can find you if they have some questions, or how they can find the tool. We didn't cover that part.
Yes. So should I share my screen again just to show how quickly how to install it? I think it's the easiest way because describing it with words is difficult. So sharing my screen again, the simplest way is actually through a spreadsheet. If you are on a spreadsheet, you go to extensions here and then to add-ons and get add-ons. And then you can type here GPT. And we are the first one. Be careful. We have lots of copycats that try to use our name to get users, but we are the one that is made
2 million downloads.
Yeah, and that is made by Talarian. This they cannot copy. So it's this one. You click here. You click on install, and then to launch it. Once you click on install, you will actually see it in this menu here, and so you can launch it.
Nice.
Okay. And otherwise you can just also go to the website. There is a big install button. So you click on install and it will drive you to this page.
Yeah. The page I wanted to switch gptforwork.com because it's not just the installation, these tools that you showed us about calculations or stuff. I think they're also useful.
Yeah. We have lots of content and we have video tutorials. Also, you have a YouTube channel that has lots of videos. So if you want to learn the tool, you can watch them.
Got it. Well, if that's the case, then Stanislav, I will add these links below the video so everybody can just scroll down and click the links necessary. Stanislav, I really wanted to thank you again. And I really hope that this tool is gonna blow up because it's already doing a lot of stuff and all this is happening in few months. So I'm really excited because you gave me a few ideas on how I can use it for myself. And for all the other listeners, give it a try, play a bit with it, try to see if it can help you. Because at the end of the day, if it saves you even few hours per week, then why not using it and try to make your life easier? Do have a great day, everybody, and we stay in touch then.
Thank you very much, Dancho.